Hey guys, this is Ago, and this week I thought I'd do something a little bit differently. I'm sparring with my buddy, Ian Brody. We're gonna have a little heart-to-heart, and we're gonna talk about the importance of building executive relationships or relationships with senior executives, and we're gonna give you a couple of strategies and tactics on how to do that. So the first thing I wanted to do is tell you a little bit about why senior executives are different. They are more busy, they're more demanding, and they're more choosy than anybody else when it comes to how they spend their time and who they spend their time with, which, let's face it, is why it's so difficult to get access to them and to get in the room. Now, the key to get access, and not only to be in the room, but to stay in the room and to be invited back, is to understand how differently they think, how differently they behave, and how differently they make decisions. That's really key, and that's really crucial. If you want to develop deep, meaningful relationships with senior executives, there are three critical common mistakes to avoid that I see people make all the time. What I'm going to do in the short video is walk you through those three mistakes, tell you what they are so you can avoid them, give you some ideas on how to overcome them, and then at the end, if you want to know more, I'll give you access to a 30-page special report. Now, the first mistake that I see people make all the time when it comes to meeting with senior executives is being underprepared. And standard sales training will tell you to develop a set of cookie cutter questions like, tell me about the three biggest challenges that you're facing in your business, or where would you like to be a year from now, or something like that. Now, maybe, and I'm just saying maybe, that works with mid-level managers or maybe more junior people or talent, but it doesn't work with senior executives. And the reason is that they expect you to know their business. They expect you to understand their industry, their business model, their challenges, their operational structure. They expect you to do some homework. Compare this. Let's say that instead of asking, what are your three biggest challenges, you were to ask a question like, hey, I was reading your company's analyst update last week, you know, the one for the third quarter. And what struck me was your strategy, one of your 5 pillars about entering emerging markets. Seems like you guys have really done well in terms of capturing market share in those markets. Now, our research suggests that the biggest challenge is not only capturing, but keeping that market share. Because as you know, brand loyalty in emerging markets operates very differently from mature markets. What's your take on that? Ask a question like that, see what happens. All right, let's move on to the number 2 mistake that I see people make all the time, which is mindset and attitude. You see, when you walk into the room, the first 10, 15 seconds, that's going to differentiate you from anybody else. That's going to instinctively tell senior executives who make decisions based on, a split-second judgment all the time, something about who you are and whether or not you are a trusted advisor or whether you go into the vendor bucket. And the key there is to project confidence. When you project confidence in your body language, your handshake, the way you behave, the way you ask questions, the way you sit down, the way you shake their hand, that tells them something about who you are. Now here's the trick. You don't have to do it for the whole meeting, and don't go overboard and be arrogant. But when you walk into the room, make sure that you carry yourself well, you're confident, you're poised, and you're good to go. The number 3 mistake when talking to and when dealing with senior executives is not thinking through and not thinking at all levels. Senior executives think in 3 dimensions. The first dimension is aspirations, what we call at Ring Group aspirations. It is, what do we want to achieve? Growth, market share, becoming the dominant or biggest player in our industry. The second dimension is what we call afflictions, commonly known as pain. What do we want to get away from? What do we want to avoid? What do we want to, get rid of? The third level, which is crucial, is risk. If I make this investment of these tens or hundreds or millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, what's it going to get me? What am I going to get away from or be able to avoid? And what's the risk associated? So there you go. 3 common mistakes that I see providers, executive coaches, consultants, people that sell high-end systems, CRM systems, ERP systems, make all the time. Being underprepared, not having the right mindset, attitude, carrying themselves in the right way. And the third one is not thinking through the issue from all angles and at all levels. If you want to find out more, I have an exclusive 30-page special report for you to download. And the report is globally structured across 4 sections. The first section deals with who and why. Who are senior executives? Why do they matter? The second question deals with the executive mindset, understanding, getting inside the head, if you will, of senior executives. The third section handles how to gain access to the C-suite, giving you some very practical, concrete, tangible strategies and ideas on how to get that first meeting, for example. And then the fourth section deals with how to go from there to becoming known as a trusted advisor, an ally, a consultant, not a vendor. So if you want that report, just click on the button here, enter your email address on the page, and you'll get that sent right over.